you're making love, and he does this. It affects you bodily. I mean, you go, it's like pushing a piece of wood into gears. It's like, it all comes to a halt. That's a quality of the feminine that I'm trying to make plain because people disown that and do what you did, diminish it and reduce it. I'm saying that's the nature of the cosmos. Everything's interconnected. You can't tweak this without this being tweaked. You are that. You are that. That's why how long did it take you to choose what you're going to put on today before coming here? As the feminine, you feel, it's not, so the first stage feminine goes, I want to look good. I want everyone to give me attention. So you get dressed up and you put on makeup and you come in here and you're checking out what everyone else is wearing and you want to make sure your cleavage is just right, not too much. Okay, so all of us have that kind of first stage Jerry Springer part of us. There's a masculine version of that too, like, So let's hold that, let's include that in all of us. And then let's also include the part of us that reacts to that and goes, I'm much more than that. But there's also a part of you that's much more than that. And that part of you is the part of you that's waiting, dying to bow your head in devotion to the divine, to be overwhelmed by God, and that can be your moment-to-moment practice. It can be your practice sexually. When it is your practice sexually, and you're playing the feminine side, which you might not always do, but in that moment, you surrender to be that connected to everything. Everything influences you. That's why you might find yourself crying, and you don't know why. And when a masculine person asks you, it's perverse. I'm like, so what's wrong? You might not even know. Are you happy? Are you sad? The feminine doesn't have to, because the weather pattern could shift out here, and you feel it in your emotions. And then the way that person's angling their head affects you. And then you're like walking across the room, and someone's perfume wafts by, and you remember something that happened as a child. And so all of this is going on. The feminine is all of that. Now, I just took a tiny little thing. I mean, do you have a sense in your body, excuse me, how immense the universe is? I mean, not just the visible universe, the multidimensional isness of stuff is so huge and complex that any masculine attempt to analyze, it's useful, but a tiny little thing. You don't have to do that in your feminine. You can be that whole thing. So that then, crying, laughing, that's not ditziness. That's galaxies swirling around each other and supernovas taking place in the cosmos and black holes sucking everything in. You are that. You've been a black hole. You've been a supernova, sometimes seconds after each other at the same time, with no understanding of why. No one knows why. No one knows why anything's here. No one knows what caused. I mean, it's so complex. That's the feminine. To surrender into the hugeness. And the feeling of that is a kind of, because you're connected to everything, you just yearn. You're yearning for love in every dimension and direction. Giving love, receiving love. So the essential feminine disposition in all of us, when we're identified with life, is heart yearning, compassion, but a yearning compassion, especially sexually. A yearning to express, a yearning to commune, not a neediness. So bimbos are needy. First stage, feminine is I'm nothing without a partner. I need a partner. Second stage is I don't need anyone. I'm whole unto myself. And third stage is I'm not even whole. I'm all. You don't say that. So it's almost impossible, I've discovered, to describe these aspects of existence without people immediately typifying them into the first stage. Men are this, women are this, or something like that. And it doesn't matter how much I say anything to the contrary. It appears people receive it into their box that has those categories. I'm saying overwhelm your partner as the cosmos. Show him or her, show him so much yearning, not neediness. Neediness means you're incomplete without him. Yearning is the overflow of devotion. Overflow your devotional response to existence to him and see what happens. Especially sustain that overflow when he's rejecting you. Sustain that overflow when he's looking at other women. Sustain that overflow when he's pulling away, going into his head, analyzing you, criticizing you, trying to fix you, making you practice, making you breathe a certain way, talking to you. All the things that sustain that. Show him in your face. What is the face of yearning that he could not help but enter? What is the body of yearning that he could not help but enter? What is the heart of yearning that he could not help but enter? What practices do you have to do so your body can conduct it? What practices do you have to do just so your hand can conduct love? So that you could use your hand in a way that is art instead of, well, that's the lifelong development of your sexual arts. And doing whatever therapy you need to around the bimbo rejection, as well as the yogic practice of displaying the cosmic bimbo, would be good practices.
Over Christmas, I met a woman who we liked each other quite a lot, but she lives in a far distant town. And as the situation is, I can't move. It would require her to move.
I've been doing her once a week. She's fine.
I feel much better. And I already have sort of shown up in the sense of, I'm very serious about this. I'm really ready to do this if you want to do it. And that's been done, but it's too soon. And so I'm now going to have to sustain some quality of being present, giving time for this to develop in the face of some great insecurity. Now I can handle the therapeutic aspect of that, but I'm asking you for help in dealing with the yogic practice of courtship.
Ooh, interesting question. Yeah. The yogic practice of courtship, wow. How often do you speak with her on the phone or connect with her in any way?
Pretty much every day, and we're visiting maybe monthly. But there's times in the calls where my anxious longing undercuts my flow.
Yeah, definitely. Have you, I don't mean just you, all of us. Have you ever had another girlfriend?
Yes.
In your life? Did you ever feel that girlfriend was the girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that you're in an illusory state that this relationship is.
I guess I do.
Well, can you feel the difference in your disposition right now? Do you feel how you just laughed? You're humorous, you're softer, you're more relaxed, you're hanging loose. That's the yogic discipline. 1A. So 1A, have the humor to realize this is a temporary display of your mind appearing as your girlfriend, testing your capacity to recognize love, or whatever part of that you can feel. So the psychological part is you're talking with her on the phone, you notice yourself. I mean, it's really important. There's so many women. There are so many moments, and this woman is going to piss you off and make you happy, and piss you off and make you happy, and fuck your best friend and fuck you, and not fuck your best friend and not fuck you. And look at the big picture. Look at the big picture. The Tibetans have these exercises like where you visualize your sexual partner filled with pus and bile and all these excrement, what they're really filled with, just to help loosen the fascination of the external form. So, instead of just like, wow, baby, it's like you're looking at each other's feces and examining each other's bile and crap, and it helps loosen that grip. These are just different methods I'm putting out here. So, but the key here is that you need to find what you need to find so you're happy with or without her, and that's what she wants. Yogically, you are the most attractive being when you are manifesting happiness, period. But certainly happiness relative to whether she's with you or not. Because, again, and tell me when you lose this, if you lose it. Feel all this stuff happening out here? me, this, all the people around you. Imagine she, your girlfriend, is a concentrated version of that. Like all of this concentrated, and now you could kind of deal with that limited form. So here's your practice, okay? Now, you tell me what your deepest realization of all of this is. What is your deepest demonstration of your understanding of all of this? Like, are you going to lose all of this?
No.
Never?
Yes. I'll die.
Yeah, when?
20, 30 years.
Pretty sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you're pretty sure about that, again, you're living in a kind of illusory world. I mean, maybe you're psychic. I don't want to deny your psychic capacities, perhaps. But I'm not sure any of us really, I'm not sure anyone in this room knows exactly when they're going to die.
Could be tomorrow.
Could be right now.
Could be.
Could be.
Don't hurt me.
Therapy. Your capacity to feel this moment coming and going. I mean, feel this moment just for a moment. I mean, it's not like a big ordeal. Just feel this moment. How long does it last? That's how long she lasts. She's this moment. So you're demonstrating on the phone with her your relationship to the universe. And she's feeling your relationship to the universe with her. She's not thinking all of this. I'm putting it into words. But if you're totally there for her and totally happy whether she's there or not, she could trust you. If you need her, she can't trust you because she says something she needs you to hear, and you don't leave me. You know. So you know that. And so what I'm trying to describe is your yogic relationship to the world, she's feeling in your relationship to her. And you seem to be pretty mentally rigid about certain things like dying and stuff. So she's going to be picking up all of that real easy, and she's not going to trust you. No woman, I mean, as soon as you tell a woman, you know, well, I'll be around for 20 or 30 years. I mean, any woman with any sensitivity at all couldn't possibly fuck you at that moment. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, let me ask. You know, if you were with a man who really insisted that, aside from any psychic capacities they had, wouldn't that feel a little, I don't know what the right word is, pretentious, rigid, assumptive? Certainly not in the moment dying to everything as it's manifesting, blooming, disappearing, total commitment to staying here. I'm here with you. If you want to leave, fine, I don't care, but I'm here with you. You know what I mean? I love you, and no one's here. And I love you, and no one's here. She can trust that. If it's not words, I'm putting words. But she could trust that. What she can't trust is, hello? I'm doing my yoga practices now. I'm trying to maintain my presence with you. I don't know if that was a little abstract. That was it? Thank you. Now, I know how that feels because I'm built like you are. So I'm kind of speaking to you. I'm playing devil's advocate because I do what you do all the time. But she needs to feel you feeling her in a fluid, open way, free. She could come and go. If she feels that you're afraid of losing her, the relationship's over. There's no yoga. You can't have yogic sex with someone that you have that with. You cannot have yogic sex with somebody who you're that afraid with. Because you need to treat her as the universe. You need to melt into her like you're melting into this moment. Like you're already melted into this moment. I mean, try to tell me where you end. I mean, can you? There? You don't. She wants to feel that from you all the time. Unendingness. And now you're in her. Not only genitally, but I mean on the phone. She feels you in her. Unafraid, not. And that unending meeting the moment fully, melting into the moment. Moment come and go, come and go. You just melt into it, feel it completely, use precision and skill. She wants to feel all of that. Now, if you're on the phone and instead of that, she's there and you're here and maybe you'll lose her, that's fear, and she'll feel that and she'll hold her heart back a little bit. Like, she might not know she's doing all of this, but she'll wonder why she can't completely give herself to you. Well, it's because you haven't completely given yourself to her in the moment. And is there anything else you want to say before I go on? Because I'd rather go off of anything you have to say than my own babble.
No, I don't. I'm just really listening.
So when you talk with her on the phone, or you see her occasionally, the yogic practice is for you to demonstrate your moment-by-moment capacity to relax as light, recognize light, that's spiritual practice, to flow with the openness of energy, which is yoga, to do whatever therapy you need to. So your ongoing dysfunctions, and they're ongoing. I have not met a single human in my life, no matter how evolved, that did not have what could be called those dysfunctions. They're part of you.
So I guess I do now have a question. I know that I won't be able to quite do this all the time. And so then the question is, in the moment when I'm not doing it, I'm contorted.
Well, even in the moment you are doing it, you're contorted, and that's what true understanding is. True actual spiritual practice, the third thing I've been talking about, is you're like this, and you realize you're light. It doesn't change this. Ramana Maharshi didn't realize he was God, consciousness, and suddenly go like, I'm going to open a worldwide business and cure poverty. So, again, you're slipping a therapeutic assumption into a spiritual domain. Is it healthy for you to undo these kinks? Of course. Is it necessary for realization? No. Does realization undo those kinks? No, it sometimes loses them a little bit. Usually it amplifies them. Really? Because you don't care, it's fun, it's art. Look at how fucked up I am. You know, we're here in Boulder, look at Chogyam Trungpa. I mean, he's done, I didn't know him personally, but I worked with some of his senior students for a long time, and he brought a lot. He was also supremely dysfunctional in some ways, and he made art right through that dysfunction. Now, I'm not saying he's a model of something, he's just one example of something. There are much healthier examples of people who recognize light. It's just there's all examples. So here you are, you're on the phone, you're talking to her, you realize all your stuff is happening. In that moment, can you feel who you are? Light, love.
Thanks.
Now, in that moment, how do you press that through your shape so she feels the light and love and the shape? So you go like, ah, yeah, look at this, ha, you know, like, that's the best it gets, really, really. I mean, it really doesn't get better than two people having humor of the art of their shape in the midst of total, full communion with no separation, and the shape's there. I mean, sometimes it relaxes a little, but sometimes it gets worse. It's just like, who cares? You know, it's just like, yeah. You know, so you don't have to fix any of the things you might think you have to fix for her to feel the depth of your heart. You may want to fix those things just so you grow as a human. But in terms of your yoga with her, she wants to feel that you know you are love and she's love no matter how kinked up she is or how kinked up you are. And you have the capacity to make humorous art out of the kinks of both of you in the midst of mutual recognition.
The risk of exposing myself as someone in dire need of therapy. Right now I'm between fucked up artsy relationships. I'm a mode of default celibacy, but this is an issue that's come up a couple times before with different partners, and you were talking earlier about how men, I think it was worship the feminine, and they're only there to watch the feminine bloom and come forward.
Well, again, I wasn't talking about men, I was talking about the masculine.
I meant to say the masculine.
And I didn't say that's all they're there for. So.
Well,
But anyways, I get the drift. Of course,
Okay.
I didn't say any of that. I just want to be clear about it.
Okay.
You said that, and I hear you.
Right.
Go ahead.
When I'm doing it, I just don't give a shit about myself. I don't care if I have an orgasm or anything. It's all about her.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see her, like, I feel a sense of pride if I bring her to whatever. And then they get mad at me when they don't get me off. And I'm like, I don't care at all.
Well,
So-
again, this is all therapy, which we could do something. But
Hoping I was above that.
well, no, there's no above. I
Right.
mean, I'm trying to be honest here.
Yeah.
When you try to fix something that's not working,
Right.
that's therapy.
Okay.
And it's not less than, it's different from. It's a necessary part of
Okay.
overall growth. So let's take it step by step.
Okay.
That feeling of pride in helping her open and then seeing her display, since at the yogic level, she is the world. Your
Right.
relationship to her is the world. So to convert that in speech, you're saying that you're proud of opening the world. You're proud of bringing pleasure to the world. Now, that's natural. It's a natural
Right.
human feeling and so forth. But does that pride interfere in your capacity to be her? So part of yogic sexuality is relaxing the sense of difference enough so that you actually become her. You already are her. She's a manifestation.
Right.
But can you, in your body as a human, for instance, breathe her? So you just, like I was joking with a woman earlier about the Jerry Springer version of things. So it's true. Her beauty is your pleasure.
Right.
Her expression is your pleasure. Can you feel the beauty in her breath? Can you be more aware of her breath than she is? Yes, you can become that. Okay, that's the beginning. So first you're with her and you're breathing with her. And you match her breath in nuance, the texture of the breath itself, belly, chest, left side, right side, subtle, gross. I mean, how is the so you match her breath, so you kind of start getting a feeling of how she feels inside. These are not, contrary to certain theories, there is not an inside-outside. There is an inside-outside from a certain perspective, but not from the yogic perspective.
Right.
From the yogic perspective, precisely, you become more aware of her than she does. Your value as a yogic sexual practitioner is, are you more aware of her than she is? You are useless unless you are more aware of her than she is. More aware of her breath than she is. Knowing where her tensions are in her body more than she does. So you could just touch a certain place of her body and she opens because you could feel that was the place. Now this takes time to develop. It's an art, it's a skill. But trying to help you get a feeling for it as opposed to whatever you're doing now. So you allow yourself to relax, you let your boundaries dissolve. You allow your breath to feel her breath and become her breath. You feel the inside of her body. You feel her motives, you feel her desires, you feel her needs. You enter into her heart so deeply. You actually know what she desires, yearns for, more than she does. So if you have to ask, what do you want? How are you feeling? You're not doing yogic sexuality, because if she told you and you believed her, you'd be missing the point of yogic sexuality, which is to feel that deeper than she can.
Yeah.
So she's going, whatever she's doing, saying and moving, but what you're doing is feeling deeper than all of that. If you're playing the masculine partner in the moment, then your responsibility is to feel deeper than her and you. You're deeper, 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 deeper. That is not her responsibility. Do not lay that on her. Do not make her feel bad for not being deep. Do not require her to be deep. Do not even talk about that. Don't talk about anything. If she's playing the feminine, she could play the masculine too. But if she's playing the feminine, She is the display itself. How display-y is she? How willing is she to reveal everything of her body, of her heart, of her yearning, of everything? So here you are together. You're entering her more deeply than she can feel. So you know just how to breathe, just how to move, just how to feel her. And she's like, oh, whoa, whoa. She keeps being taken farther.
Right.
Whoa, what was that? That's your value. So anyways, just wanted to kind of set a little stage. So
what do I do when she, in turn, wants to maybe she wants to switch poles or something, and she wants to bring that out of me?
Whoa.
Sorry.
No. There's nothing to apologize for. Again, I'm speaking in abstract, in paintings. She is going to do everything she can to fuck you up without thinking about it. She has no intention to fuck you up. And if you asked her, she certainly wouldn't be trying. And probably if you asked all women, they'd say, no, she's not trying to fuck you up. But if you ask a man, they'll go, fuck. So what I mean is, because of what I talked about earlier, her interconnectedness to all elements, her flow of energy, what she wants to feel, and again, I'm putting masculine terms on this. She doesn't want to feel this, but I have to put it in words. So what she wants to feel is she can dance as everything. You know, not as the bimbo, but for real. You know, like she's really feeling those things deeply from you in response to you. And you don't get hooked. Oh, proud, happy, you know, like all of that. So to the extent that her happiness makes you proud, and her ability and her wanting this or wanting that jerks you around, you're not practicing sexual yoga, you're practicing something else. But sexual yoga, she could do anything and you take her deeper. She shits on you, you take her deeper. She's ecstatically orgasmic, you take her deeper. And especially for this group, she's going to say things that's going to sound like she means them.
Right.
If you believe them, then you're limiting the occasion to what she's saying. If she knew what she wanted, she wouldn't fucking need you. I'm serious. Same thing for you.
Right.
If you could access the beauty of the moment completely, be awed by her, capital H, what's a little human body, her?
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So because we tend to get self-involved, we need to be drawn out of that self-involvement by another who reflects to us the divinity of everything. So unless you can take her deeper than she can go by herself, and unless she can awe you more than you could awe yourself, bring that to to your knees, that kind of awe. If she can't do that, why would you want to be with her? And if you can't offer that to her, why would she want to be with you, yogically speaking?
Right.
So, what are you giving her that she can't give herself?
Depth.
Maybe, but
Possibly.
you got to work on that. So you have to be clear for yourself as a sexual partner. Now, you don't have to talk about this with her necessarily, but for you as a human and as a masculine side of a sexual partnership, what you want to do is walk into that sexual occasion, I don't mean intellectually, but knowing what you have to give her that she can't give herself. And then give her that. Will she want it? No. Will she resist? Yes. Will she try to convince you that you're wrong? Yes. Will she question your capacity to practice? Yes. Will she attempt to undermine all of your confidence? Yes. Will she criticize you in the ways that you're weakest? Yes. And would you want it any other way? Would you want a woman who went along with you being a dipshit? Nope. Sometimes we all do. But in general, I think we want to grow beyond that in all of us.
Yeah.
So you want her to reflect that. You don't want to get into long conversations about it, but you don't want her to put up with less than you're capable of, I don't think. So the way she does that is by giving you something you can't handle, and specifically, automatically giving you something that distracts you from your depth. And she knows what that is for you better than anybody. She knows exactly what to say. Probably something about your art. Like, oh, that's bad. Well, do you have any suggestions on that? It's gone. Yoga's gone. Sexuality is gone. You've reduced it to some therapy discussion that doesn't have an end, because all she wanted to feel is that you're larger than her criticism. She wants to feel that your consciousness stands free.